Have you heard of SIGA Technologies? A name rung a bell when it came up again. If you're a longtime viewer, you might know why you've heard that name somewhere before. You heard it because of one of President Obama's most frequent visitors to the White House, former head of the SEIU, Andy Stern, when he left SEIU, went to the board at SIGA. Now, how about that? Now, the Obama administration has just given SIGA, a biodefense company, Let's just put this together. Seeing why this bothered me? A biodefense company with SEIU's head on the board. The Obama administration just gave that company a no-bid $443 million taxpayer, no-bid experimental smallpox contract. Wait a minute. No bid? That's a lot of money for a smallpox drug. And it just so happens there's another amazing coincidence. SIGA is controlled by billionaire fat cat and Democratic donor Ron Perlman. Now, where have we seen Ron Perlman before? Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird how the left became completely unglued when Halliburton, maybe the only company in the world who could actually accomplish the tasks that they were given to do, won a no-bid contract from the Bush administration. But this one, no, not a problem. I don't have a problem with that. What? Oh. Wait a minute. Really? According to the Los Angeles Times, when SIGA was in danger of losing the grip on the contract a year ago, this administration had officials blocking other firms from competing. When SIGA complained that contracting specialists at the Department of Health and Human Services were resisting the company's financial demands, senior officials replaced the government's lead negotiator for the deal. So maybe it's just that SIGA will provide us with the cheapest per dose rate for smallpox vaccine, because that's got to be it. No, wish it was. Nope, they're doing $225 per dose. $225 per dose. Well, it is smallpox, so it's a vaccine. It's very, the government, sure, that's over what the government specialist had early said was reasonable. But it's also interesting to note that the government already owns enough smallpox vaccine, to take care of anything that might pop up. And that dose is $3 a dose. They could inoculate the entire U.S. population, treat people exposed to the virus for $3. Maybe it's that we're out of vaccine. No. The government owns just over $1 billion worth of this vaccine. And smallpox, terrible problem for the Native Americans when it wiped out entire tribes in the 1500s. But by 1978, it was pretty much eradicated worldwide. So, really, smallpox? We need that drug? Really? That's essential? You might say, what about the threat of smallpox being used as a weapon? Well, it is only known to exist in locked freezers in Russia and the United States. But Russia's our friend, right? I mean, look in Pooty Poot's eyes. Also, the drug can't be tested for effectiveness because of ethical constraints. So we don't even know if this $229 per dose drug would even work. So wait a minute. Hang on. Sounds like something's going wrong here. Sounds like something's not right. But why should I bother saying that today when I said that June 23rd, 2010? Watch.
I want to talk to you about I want to talk to you about something here that I want you to do your homework on and look. And I don't even know what I'm looking for at this point, but something's very wrong. And maybe this is part of it or not, but I don't know. SIGA Technologies, S-I-G-A. Watchdogs, please look into this. S-I-G-A, SIGA Technologies. They have just named Andy Stern to the Drug Development Board.
Man, if I would have had a blaze and a news staff myself, if somebody would have just listened to me in a newsroom someplace back then, maybe we would figure out why are they getting that $500 million government contract? What else is going on with SIGA. You can add to the list now, SIGA, along with Solyndra, the $535 million loan guarantee to a company that everyone knew it was going to fail. You can also add, and I believe I said this about the electric car, the Chevy Volt. Yes, I did. It's selling 6 cars a year, or whatever it is. We're finding out now that the lithium-ion batteries might be fire hazards. Wait a minute. I heard that from the GM people themselves like 3 years ago. A Volt caught fire while stored in a garage in National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's testing center. Well, it's comforting to know that when the federal government is already providing a $7,500 check to every person who buys a Chevy Volt or another electric car now, don't get me wrong, it's not believed that the Volt or electric vehicles pose greater fire risk than gas-powered kinds. It's good to know that they're on top of it. Here's the president getting behind the wheel of a Chevy Volt just to prove it. See, there's nothing wrong with it. Look, there's the president getting into it. The president of the United States is getting into this car? Really? What? Oh, yeah, that's right, because we own it now. That's right. His union buddies are that's right. What's happening here? The rewriting of our history. Where's the media? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Do you remember when the Tea Party wasn't mentioned in, what was it, the 2009 Time Year in Review? 2008, 2009 Time Year in Review? It wasn't even mentioned. It wasn't in there. How is that possible? You remember on the mall on 9/12? The huge crowd shows up? Really? Then the year before I bring 500,000 people to the mall, I'm the most influential, one of the most influential people in America. But the year I do bring them to the, I'm not influential at all. What's happening here? Rewriting of history. I was on the plane yesterday and I pulled out this. This is a little moleskin book. And it's something you just make notes in. I've told you to get a moleskin book before, and I've told you, keep it in your back pocket and keep it handy. Keep it with you at all times, and just to write things down. But I want you to do something a little more intense than that. This is the bigger moleskin. I'm not asking everybody to do this. Well, yeah, actually I am. It would be good for everybody to do this, just for your family. I want you to write down the things that you see on the news. I know I've met so many people who are doing this. They're writing down everything. They're keeping them. I want you to write down the things that happen every day. Things that you see in the news, things you don't see in the news. See how it's being spun. Write it down. You are the only thing that will stand in the way of you and total darkness. Who are the historians? Who are they? If I said to you, hey, let's go find a bunch of historians, where would you look for them? At the universities. Ooh. That's not good. Who else writes histories? Journalists. Whatever is on tape. Whatever's part of the record. Do you know why I play that video of me on the radio instead of me on Fox? Because I don't own the rights to anything on Fox. Fox owns the rights of every one of my episodes on Fox. What happens, let's say, this will never happen. What happens if Rupert Murdoch and his family lost control and Fox all of a sudden became MSNBC? You think those shows are ever going to be seen again? It is important that you keep your own records. Do you think anything about the U.S. would be remembered in a positive fashion with historians, the ones who are writing our history now? Do you know this? I don't know if you know this. They're coming out with a book on history about Occupy Wall Street. It's a Occupy Wall Street history book. They're doing it by January. What? What we do here is extraordinarily important. And I don't mean what we do here. I mean what you do where you are. What you see, what you witness, what you know is going on. I want you to write this stuff down.
GBTV. The truth lives here.